Okay, I'm GeoDav, and in this video what I'd like to do is take a little bit of time to hopefully explain a few things about the UV setup that Epic uses for their characters. Now, the amount of times I've seen or read and answered on the forums people saying, well, why on earth do we have to stick to these UV setups? Well, let me show you one of my lovely little materials. Here we go, view the image. Here we go. I'm sure anybody who's actually read my written tutorial will recognise this picture, and like it says, or like I've mentioned and many a times, each region is set. Okay, now let me just move my little clever guy over here. Now obviously you can't see the writing on there, so let's just let me dither on a little bit here. There we go, and body UV, so you're not going to see much of the writing there because of the way I've UV'd it. Right, let's just put that down there for the moment, because we're not going to do a great deal on this. I'm just going to burble at you in that sense why it is so important to have the UV layout, as you can see here, in these regions. Now, a lot of people, when you start playing UT3, you'll start with one character and then you'll go on to another one and maybe pick another one and then modify it, change it, use one head, do a different torso, different set of legs, different set of arms, shoulder pads, boots. You've got lots of choices that you can pick from. Now just imagine if these were all single meshes, alright, and each mesh would have a material. Okay, so let's just start off with something really simple to talk about. You have a character which has a choice of 3 bodies, okay, the torsos. Okay, so then you've got 3 torso textures, and then you're like that, well okay, then we'll have 3 separate legs, well 3 legs, so then you need another 3 leg textures, and the same goes on for the pads, the arms and the boots. Now if you'd ever modified and made characters for the Unreal Tournament 2004, you would then realise doing that way you would end up, for say one little faction with starting off with 3 character heads, you'd end up with something like 20, 30, 40 different textures, and that would make the package size so large it is unreal. Well, yeah, it's okay, it's unreal. Yeah, Unreal Tournament, ha ha ha. Okay, so the way I think what they've been doing is that for each, let's say, faction, you will have maybe for the main body area, okay, anything apart from the head and upwards, you will have approximately 4 textures. Okay, so say you got 4 torsos, 4 legs, 4 boots, 4 arms and 4 sets of pads. Now what happens in game when you select your character and modify it, the game engine actually cuts out these regions from each material. Okay, this is all on the fly, and puts it all, say like we have the torso 0, yeah, from the first, well, yeah, the first material, then the legs from the second material, the pads from the third, the arms from the fourth, and say the boots from the first one again. So it cuts it all up because in the code everything's set for these regions, loads it all up into one material. Now this saves on obviously memory for the game, maybe they've done this for the PlayStation 3 because that has a less, well, a limited amount of video memory to play with than what most up-to-date PCs have. But seeing as that this is the way they've done it, so you can have multiple parts, yeah, then we have to try and copy this when we make our own characters. Now, yes, you'll see in various threads on the forums that you don't have to maintain this system. Now, if you're just doing a one-off character and it's going to be there on its own and you're not going to let it be mixed with anything else, then no, you don't have to worry about this. We can use Shenko's workaround, which I'll show you in another video later on how to do that. But if you're going to be putting your character in one of the Unreal factions, or you're going to make your own faction with multiple characters with multiple parts, then you're going to have to do it this way, because otherwise when you start playing the character in game, then it'll look absolute crud. Okay, now believe me, to make things easier for everybody concerned, including yourselves, when you UV map your areas or your parts of your body, put them into these regions. Okay, I've made these nice little textures up that are freely available off my website, and I'll put them into probably a download at a later date, you know, with everything concerning the characters. So just use these as guidelines. Now we have that one. Okay, that's as I say, the torso region, legs. I'm sure I switched that off. Never mind. The torso region, the legs, the pads, arms, and boots. Okay. Now the other one you want to look at is obviously the head one. So we'll just have a quick gander at that. Just put that away. Now there's something else I was thinking of, but we can deal with that once I actually get to try it out. Now obviously the head region, this is picking a sort of region or aspect in the game. The textures for this region is 2048 by 1024. You might ask, well, why have they picked that when they've always used square ones? Well, in a lot of cases nowadays, when you're looking at the heads, you don't want them sort of like symmetrical, e.g. the left hand side looks the same as the right hand side, and there's a lot of well, I won't say a lot, a few of the programs I've seen where that will generate their own heads, yeah, have this sort of aspect, so you can actually unfold the head out and have a nice big area to paint on. Okay, now obviously some of these regions are not really used much actually in the game, e.g. the eye, the mouth, the neck and the other eye. Yeah, these are mainly used on the cinematic stuff. You've got the helmet region. Now like I was saying before, if you have say 3 characters, then you can have straight away 3 different helmets, and you can have 3 different face masks and 3 different goggles, purely because you've already set up this texture or material. Now it's up to you if you want to use the extra ones or not, but it makes life, so, like I say, I keep on saying, it makes life so much easier, and you have a lot less problems if you actually maintain these UV setup. Okay, I'll just, let's see, there we go. Let's go pick my head. Now that's the goggles. You see, it's not been hiding everything. There we go. There we go. Let's just hang on. Let's just hide selected, and here we'll see the UV layout of my really fantastic head. I might change this. As you can see, that is fantastic, isn't it? That's a really crap head. I was just using that as a placeholder. I might use one that I exported a year or two ago from a beta software that I got to play with, so I might change that in the very near future when I start doing the actual videos for rigging, exporting and all the rest of this. Okay, so it's a quick heads up. My thinking behind the reason behind these regions. Okay, and I cannot stress, I know I'm harping on about this and repeating myself 10,000 times, but if you can, stick to these UV regions and you'll have a lot less problems. Okay, I'll leave it at that, and I know it was a bit boring this time, but it is very important and I get asked a lot about it. Okay, so I'll catch you very soon.